Welcome everyone, welcome to my brand Skylight Designs. My name is Sebastian, and in this video I'm going to show you my process of how I develop a website for one of my clients. On my website I have three different options that I use. The first one is with Hugo, the second one is with WordPress, and the third one is with Craft CMS. Hugo is a static site generator that is one of the fastest static site generators out there. WordPress is a content management system, and Craft is also another content management system. Now, with Hugo, we're going to use a content management system called forestry.io. Now, you may be asking, what is a content management system? So, a content management system is essentially a way for a business owner to manage and update the website themselves. They can log in, they can make changes, and they can edit the text and images on the site, and they can make updates to it and continuously have a blog. In my services, there's three different content management systems I use, which is forestry.io, WordPress, and Craft CMS. In this video, we're going to be focusing on Hugo and forestry.io, and I'm going to show you my process of how I build a website for one of my clients, Wendell. So the first step is that I would talk to the client and establish a briefing, basically get to know their business, understand what they're offering as a service, and understand their business a bit further. Once I do that, if they're building something from scratch, I would tend to look for a template. It saves a lot of time, and generally we could adjust the template to make it look like a unique custom designed website. Of course, we could build it from scratch if that's what the client would like. But generally, my clients don't have an issue with me customizing templates for them, and it saves them some money, and it's a quick way to get a site up and running that looks fairly good. And it also doesn't look like it's using a template because of the process that I go through. So this is one of the templates that I looked up. It's called CM Repair Bootstrap template. Bootstrap is a framework for HTML and CSS and JavaScript. It's for responsive design. Responsive design means that the website will adapt its screen size for mobile, tablets, and desktop use cases. So the website will essentially look good on any device that you're using, and this is a standard that Skylight Designs goes by. So we try to make our websites look as good as possible on all different devices so that it really doesn't matter how they're being viewed. And Bootstrap is a framework that allows you to have responsive design that make the website look good on all different devices. So this is a template for 17 US. The actual price will be 19 US because there's a $2 handling fee. And convert that to Canadian, that's about 27 Canadian. If we look at the live preview, we get to see the template in action. So this is what we get out of the box. And the first step is basically just assessing different templates and looking for what would be the most appropriate template for the business at hand. And we could, of course, make custom changes to this template as we need. So if we like this template, which the client liked this template and I do too, we could go ahead and purchase it. Now I already purchased this template, so I'm going to show you what the end result looks like. So we can look at the different pages here quickly. There's a blog, there's contact, there's a Google map. So once we buy the template, we're going to look at how it looks like. Here's the template. So we're just going to drag index into the browser. Index.html is the main file that you want to, it's your home page essentially, or it's the main file that gets served up in the web browser. And this is how the template looks like. So this is what we get out of the box. And it's fairly simple. There's a lot of elements to it. There's a lot of placeholder images and different elements to it. And this is what we get out of the box. Now, most clients, when they receive this, they're not really going to know what to really do with it. So this is where background knowledge of HTML and CSS will come in very handy to make changes to the template and to customize it. So if you're someone who is familiar with HTML and CSS and a little bit of JavaScript, this is a process that would be very appealing to you, to basically customize templates and turn them into websites that use content management systems. So this is our template. I was just going through the different pages. We have a single services page. Now it's our job to figure out what to keep and what to remove. So the next step is that I would look at the code and I would change this template to what you see here, to essentially a much simpler version, which is, I'll open it up in a second here, HTML, computer repair, index. So here's the same template that has been simplified, and a lot of the content has been removed and simplified into essentially one format that we can use for the website. Some English has been added to replace the lorem ipsum. Some lorem ipsum is still there. And this process involves some coding. So coding in HTML and CSS. So I'll quickly open up the text editor or code editor and show you how that looks like. So this is the computer repair folder. And if we look here at the HTML, we have index.html, which is our HTML content. And this is what we would modify, to suit our needs. This information has been marked out. And we have all this information right here, the HTML and the CSS classes that are attached. This is what builds up our HTML template. And we could just see this on the browser. So this is a simplified version of the website. And we could start working with this already. These are the different pages. So the next step is to basically figure out what type of content management system we want to use. So in this case, we decided to go with forestry.io and turn this into a Hugo website. This is based on the budget and the needs of the client. If they need something simple, Hugo is a very good solution. So essentially, I could show you how the Hugo website looks like. So since this is a static site generator, we do need to run a server to get this going. There we go. It's just Hugo server /-d. And we'll look up localhost 1313. And this is what the website looks like with Hugo, where it's is dynamically generated. Well, it's not a dynamic website, but the content is dynamically generated with markdown. And I could show you how the code looks like in just a second. We have the images, we have the background images, we have the content, the information. The writing is supplied partly by the client and partly by myself. We can look at the different pages. The blog still needs to be completed. We can go to About. And as you can see, it's a responsive website. Oh, we're going to have to fix that menu. Not sure why that's happening. We may have to do some tweaks to it. If we look at the home page, yeah, the home page is fine. So this is what we get out of when we work on it. So I can show you the code for this website. If we open up the Hugo folder, no, this is not the right one. Let's look up this folder right here. So this is our Hugo folder. We have the Forestry content management system hooked up with the front matter. These are Hugo folders. So these belong to the static site generator. We have archetypes, content, data, layouts, resources, static, themes. If you look at the layouts folder, These are all are part of Hugo. So we could learn about if you learn about Hugo, you would be familiar with some of these folders. This is the default folder, base of. So I believe Hugo is written in the Go language, and we basically hook up all these different partials and blocks into the templates, and this content gets dynamically generated. So for example, we have here content, and we have different markdown files that we write up for the Hugo website. And these are written in markdown, and this is front matter right here, as you can see. And what happens then is that when we go to layouts and we go to the index page, every time you see these curly brackets and content and things like params, and we see the image that's getting generated. Every time you see the curly brackets, you see that Hugo is dynamically generating this content. And some of the content is hard-coded in the website, meaning that it's going to not change based on, you're not going to be able to edit it. But that's the nature of Hugo. Like, you're not going to necessarily be able to change every aspect of the website as you would with, let's say, like something like Craft CMS, which is a more robust content management system. But Hugo allows you to basically keep a blog up to date and allows you to change elements on a website that have to do with the content type. So similar to WordPress, where WordPress has a content block that you can change, Hugo also has a content block, and then you can create web pages in Hugo that are markdown files, and where you could edit the markdown, and that will get automatically generated within the content block. So every page has a main content block, as like this page, for example, is the about page. 3 hashtags means that this is an H3. So we could see how this would be a paragraph tag, a paragraph tag, paragraph, paragraph, and H3. And this would get automatically generated on the website. So if we look at the about, this would be the about page. This is what gets automatically generated. So I could show you now the forestry.io content management system. So my part in developing the website is basically to code out. But before we go to forestry.io, I'll just show you my part in all of this. So my part is really to customize a template and to turn it into a generic template, into turning it from a generic template into a website that a business owner can actually use, and dynamically generating all this content with with tags here. So we can see that for the about page. For the contact page, we have content, services. So we have images that are being dynamically generated. I'm not using a theme. I wrote all the code myself, so I'm not using a Hugo theme. Well, I mean, I didn't write all the code. I wrote part of the code myself, and then part of the code was created by the template. If we look at partials, we can see all the partials. We have header. This will go into the header. So if we look at the default base of template, we can see that the main block will go into main, the footer will go into footer, the header will go into header, and the head will go into the head. So if we look at our partials, we have header, which will go into the header, head, which will go into the head, footer, which will go into the footer. We have a call to action partial, which will sort of like a footer that belongs to every page. This call to action will be dynamically generated on every page that we choose to have it, not on every page, but on the pages that we choose to have it pop up. And we could edit it once here in this file, and then it will be changed in every single page. So I can show you how that looks like. So the call to action in this case is this: contact us to get your computer repaired, contact us. We can change something here, and it'll be changed in all these different pages. that it belongs to. So let's say services, it'll change here in services and the about and so on. And the way that's being generated is that if we go to about and we go to the bottom of the page, we have the partial call to action cta.html, and this partial will be generated based on what's in this call to action HTML file. So that's a little bit about Hugo. We could go much more in depth about Hugo. My goal is to really run through this whole process, so you have a holistic kind of overview of what I do for my clients. So let's go to forestry.io now. So forestry.io is a content management system, which that's what a CMS stands for, content management system, that integrates with either GitHub or GitLab or other repository platforms that store your website's content. And then we could use something like Netlify to host our website, which I'm using in this case. So this is a local server. If we go to localhost 1313, this is a local server. We could stop the local server, so just Control-C. And to prove it's a local server, if I refresh, nothing's going to appear. So if we go to Netlify, just to show you how this is hosted with Netlify, if we go here, this is the website that is being hosted with Netlify. And this actually has free hosting, so we don't have to pay for hosting. They have a free option. And if you go to this domain right here, you'll be able to see this website. And with forestry.io, you can edit the website. So let's just log in. We'll log in with GitHub. So this is the content management system for a static site that we have up. And we can see that we can edit the pages. If we look at services, what we can do is we could edit the photos here. We can replace the photos. This is the markdown that we have written. We can replace the markdown. And to show you that it's markdown, if we go to the raw editor, we can see that this is markdown. May not be the best example. We can go to, let's say, a different page like about. This is an H3. If we look at the markdown file, you can see 3 hashtags, which will make it an H3 in markdown. We can have the images here that we can replace. Now, if we want to preview the website, all we would have to do is go to the settings, go to previews, and we would hit start preview. So similar to how I had this website previewed into my local host, this is going to generate a preview for us. Although we do have this website hosted on Netlify, so this preview may not be that necessary because we could just check the live website. But if we did want to check the preview, we could go there. So let's just go to the, let's say, About page. And we can click this button. Now, Hugo is going to build the website from scratch, and you could see how quickly it built it. That was very quick. That's just to show you how fast Hugo is. And this is a preview now. This right here, this domain, is a generated preview by forestry.io. So it's another way to see your website. And we could see it previewed here. We could change images. Now, to show you, we can change these images down here. We could change this image over here. Well, this image is hard-coded, so we can't change it. This image we can change. This image we can change, not the banner. This text we can change. The blog has interesting features. It has pagination, as you can see. So we can see the next post. We can go previous. It has categories built in, so I can show you the categories. If we go to blog, this blog is just generic right now. We're still building it. So if we go to blog post 3, for instance, we can choose which categories we want to pick. For our blog, we have computers, entrepreneurship. We have tags of computers and entrepreneurship, our featured image, which we can replace. And we have our markdown over here. This is using a template for our front matter. So the way this works is that we have templates that we use for our front matter, that we create them here, and we can use these templates in our blog. And what this allows us to do is basically, the main benefit of this is that we could dynamically replace the images and use WYSIWYG editors to find and choose the images we would like. So on the pages that we have here, if we go to About, we can use these replace photo editors to dynamically choose a photo. So we can see different photos that we want to choose. We could just click a photo and replace it if you would like to. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's what you could do. And once you do that, you would just hit save and all the changes would populate. So this is the preview that is generated with forestry.io. Of course, the main source that we want to look at is Netlify. So Netlify is the hosting platform I use to host this website. And we could just quickly look at the platform itself. So if we look at Netlify, all-in-one platform for automating modern web projects. If we look at the pricing, as you can see, they have a $0 per month starter package, which is really good for clients who want to host their websites for free. So that's one of the really good advantages of using Hugo and forestry.io and Netlify, is that you could use the Jamstack to essentially create websites where you have free hosting. You pay a domain fee, which is around 15 US a year, and the client pays you for the service, and all they have to pay to maintain a website is literally just paying for the domain, which is 15 to 18 US a year, depending on where you go. Typically it's around 15 or 16 US a year. And that's all they have to pay to maintain a website, and they get edited with forestry.io, and I'll have it live. Now, this is not a custom domain. This is the domain that comes with Netlify, but of course you could make this domain anything you would like. That's available, and you could use a service called Hover. I'll just show you Hover quickly. You could use a service called Hover to basically buy a domain. And yeah. So that's my process from taking a generic template on Envato on ThemeForest and turning it into a website that a client can use. And this process can make it to be a very affordable service, and can give you a good quality website with a little bit of knowledge of HTML and CSS that is required to make some custom changes and upload the images and text that you would like for the website. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Take care. Cheers.